Hang on, wait. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners public hearing. Today is Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. It's 3:01 p.m. My name is Ty Mentor, Chair of the Board. We have Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards to my left and Commissioner Carolina Mejia to my right. County Manager Mira Chavez is here with our Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell. We are here on the first of two public hearings this afternoon. This one relates to an amendment, proposed amendment to Thurston County Code 1237-197 regarding compression brake restrictions. The purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed amendment to Thurston County Code 1237-197 to prohibit the use of compression brakes on segments of Little Rock Road Southwest and Churchill Road Southeast. This is a hybrid public hearing. Those wishing to testify are either here in person, are on our Zoom, emailed in comment, or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the Thurston County homepage online and select announcements of public hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. Matt Unzelman, Traffic Engineer and Operations Manager of Thurston County Public Works, and Becky Kahn, Civil Engineer, will provide information on this topic. I will then read names on a sign-up sheet. Assuming those on Zoom wish to testify, they will follow the in-person testimony. Each person will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, state your name and the area of the county in which you reside for the record. Public hearing is now open. Matt and Becky will present background information of the proposed amendment, summarize any written comments submitted, and then answer any additional questions requested by the board. So Matt, Becky, whoever's up can take the podium. And we have these slides. Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Becky Kahn. Again, I'm a civil engineer in the Traffic Engineering Group of Public Works, and I'm here today to talk to you about compression brake restrictions here in Thurston County. I'll start with a quick overview of what compression brakes are, and I'm going to go into how we review compression brake restriction requests. I'm going to go over the two proposed compression brake restrictions we have today, and then I'm going to go through the next steps. So compression brakes are often referred to as Jake brakes, and they are a supplemental braking system used on some diesel engines. They, when the compression brakes are in use, they make a really loud noise, which is often why they're an issue in residential areas and why we receive complaints about them. We feel that the restriction sign serves just as a reminder to truck drivers that they are entering a noise-sensitive area, and that that these restrictions are not a hindrance to truck drivers if placed appropriately. So, when we receive a request for a compression brake restriction, we first start with a traffic study, and we go out there and we look at how many vehicles are traveling on that roadway, how much of that is truck traffic. We look at the geometry, so if there's hills or curves along that section of roadway. Once we have that, we ask our roads crew to drive a truck that has compression brakes on it through that section of roadway and get their opinion of what they feel. Do they feel like compression brakes are needed in that section to help them slowly stop, or whether they feel they're not needed in that section? And then we go to public comment, which is where we're at today. Okay, so our first section of roadway, that we're looking at today is Churchill Road from 1,400 feet south of State Route 507 to the dead end. This road sees about 200 vehicles per day, and 56 of those are trucks. We are starting this restriction 1,400 feet south due to the fact that there's a large hill coming off of 507. And so we don't feel like that's a safe place to have that restriction in place, but after that, that portion of the road is fine. So that's how we chose to place it there. And basically because we don't want people to be going down right into 507, so, because it's a hill going down. We have received 2 public comments to date on this. One in favor, and her comment is that she hears a lot of compression brakes, especially in the early morning hours. And we received one person who is not in favor of the restriction. Mostly he was concerned about not being able for trucks to stop going on to 507. And I think we've kind of taken care of that based on where we're starting the restriction. The second roadway is Little Rock Road Southwest from Albany Road Southwest to Sargent Road Southwest. This roadway sees about 2,500 vehicles per day, and 212 of those are trucks. We have received 3 comments through this. One was in favor, and again, it was the noise complaint. And we've received 2 that were not in favor. And their comments were along the lines of they don't want to see more restrictions put on roadways in general. They don't feel like they hear the compression brake noise from their house often. And that, yeah, and that's about it for that one.
Could you state those numbers again? There's 1 for, 2 against. What did you say?
Oh, yeah, there were 3 comments total. 1 was in favor and 2 were against.
Okay.
On Little Rock.
On Little Rock Road, correct.
The 2 against, were they people who lived on the street that's at issue, or at least close?
They live within the area, so we sent out letters to basically anyone that has access to Little Rock right in along this area. So they felt that they were close enough where they felt like they would hear the noise.
Go ahead.
How many people did you send letters to?
It was between 100 and 200, I believe, in Little Rock. I don't have the exact.
How about in the other one over by Tenino?
It would have been far less, just because that section of roadway is so, anyone that was connected lives on that roadway, we sent it to.
Do you know what that number is?
I would guess
Just roughly.
50 maybe.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I wasn't as concerned about the number. I was more going for whoever was right on that road.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So for our next steps, if the board so chose, they could amend County Code Section 12.37.197 by ordinance. And if that was to go through, we would then place the compression brake restriction signs on the roadway. There would be 2 at each location, and this has a very minimal cost in terms of placing the signs.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is, this whole process starts because it is a citizen requested, correct?
Correct.
On Little Rock, is there a hill or grade at any point there that folks would probably need to use them, or argue that they would need to use the compression brakes?
No. You want to say something about that?
I'll add to it. Matt Unslin, Thurston County Traffic Engineer. So we would obviously never prohibit the use of compression brakes if we thought it was going to create a safety issue. So on Little Rock Road, it's important to recognize that it's flat, and the sight distance, you can see the approaching slowdown for many thousands of feet in advance. So it's not like you need to throw the brake on at the last minute. You have more than adequate time to slow your vehicle down. And I want to reemphasize something on Churchill is Becky was mentioning that we're not going to restrict the use of compression brakes within that first 1,400 feet. And because that first 1,400 feet is a downhill gradient, and you combine that downhill gradient with fully loaded log trucks coming down to a stop sign, that we feel that the truck drivers do need to have the ability to use their Jake brake or compression brake in that situation.
So I'm not familiar with this road. If there's 56 trucks a day and it's a dead end, there must be a certain business there that they're, what is that business?
That business would be DNR. So DNR has some timberland in the back.
So they're
And
like
so,
logging trucks?
yeah, and the thing that's frustrating about this road is like, depending on the logging operations, you might have, I think Becky said 50 compared to 212, 50 trucks compared to 212 regular vehicles going through there. But then if there's no logging operations going on, then you might not see hardly any log trucks. So it's very dependent upon the logging operations. And when Becky was talking about the nuisance, I want to emphasize that typically loggers start early. So they're out there, I'm not joking when I say they're warming their trucks up 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And so if somebody came blown by my house with a Jake brake at 4 o'clock in the morning, I might not be the happiest person either.
Can we go ahead with some questions on this?
Yeah, we're still doing questions. We haven't gone to public testimony yet.
I guess my question really is, we haven't heard public testimony yet, so we might have a whole bunch of people come in the door here pretty quick, I guess. But I'm kind of curious, if it was a problem, how come we don't have a few people here, expressing the issue? Are they depending on you guys? You're going to bring that forward to us, and they're not going to say anything so the truckers don't get mad at them, or what?
So they can be mad at Public Works.
Yeah, we can't be mad at Public Works, but no, I'm just trying to take it from a perspective of, gee, if there's some hundreds of people living in one area and, we get 3 comments and there's 50 or 60 in another area and we get 3 comments.
Right.
I'm trying to see the problem that we're trying to fix. I mean, out in rural America, roosters start crowing at 3:30 in the morning too. I don't want us to be downtown Olympia myself. I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from, but I want to hear from others, I guess, to see. Are you going to be around to answer any questions? We might have citizens come in and flood us with questions. We might have to ask you guys something here again.
We'll stick around.
Okay.
I mean, the question I had is just like, do you get requests like this and then I don't want to use the wrong word, but dismiss them or reject them or say, nope, this isn't a good idea? Or do you typically sort of, the number of requests you get for these kind of restrictions, Becky showed us the process, but I mean, how many of these get to the board level that are made to your level?
Not very many. I can tell you that I think the last compression brake ordinance update was it 2013? Yeah. So there is not a lot of these that come through.
And can you tell us, I mean, you talked about the public comment to the proposed change, but can you tell us what, like, the instigator of the whole idea? Is it one person or a group of citizens, neighbors, or do you have that information?
So the Becky, I'll let you speak to Little Rock, but on Churchill, it was a citizen complaint.
One house didn't like it, and then they got this thing started, and you guys will go through the process.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Unless it didn't.
it's our duty to consider it.
Okay. Okay.
And as this moves forward, I guess, with this, we had a safety barrier issue here, I don't know, a month ago, but we got some petitions with 50 signatures or something on it, I mean, you could see there was a lot of concern versus 1 or 2 people. I'm just trying to get to the seriousness of it, and I like to think that these people don't abuse that too much. They're independent truckers, but I don't know. I guess I'm used to the noises of rural America.
How many rumble strip complaints did you get?
Gosh.
So what if these houses are within 300 feet of the road?
Oh, there are so many houses within 100 feet of those rumble strips. It's terrible. We didn't follow the code quite right during that process, but another issue.
All right, well, let's go to our public comment, and then we can
Yeah.
follow up with more questions. I got John Pettit first,
Commissioners.
Dixon Fellows on deck.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name's John Pettit. I live out on Rich Road. And I have noisy trucks that go by my place too, mostly fire engines and medic units, and maybe we can turn
Police
them all
cars.
down. I guess I'm going to express, because I'm a little older than most of the people on the board. The other one's quite a bit older than me. Okay. But the issue here is if you are actually kind of like that country person, compression brakes, I'm not advocating for them or against them. I will say this, they're a part of the vehicle. Compression brakes help save your regular brake system on your vehicle. They are designed for a safety feature. And although you can have a long straightaway, you may have to hit them at any particular time if a deer pops out along the road. Okay? I taken this note as I was going up, putting up some other signs along the road, this great big sign that showed this particular hearing. And I thought, well, I think I need to comment. First of all, it is part of the design of those vehicles. Now, that being said, there's the second part that I'm going to address. Enforceability. Are you creating another level of ordinance that has virtually zero ability to be enforced? The fact of the matter is, even your ordinance would dictate that, you know, if it's an emergency situation, they have the right to use their compression brakes. Okay? It's not something that you're going to have somebody there all the time watching and say, okay, I think that was excessive use to find this person have violated the compression brake noise ordinance, where you're opening yourself up to more complaints because, well, there's an ordinance that says they can't do that, but you're never going to know the situation of the driver, of the reason why he chose to do it. Believe me, they don't typically, drivers of commercial vehicles like that, don't go around and actually use them on a straightaway. They don't usually use them, like, except for maybe, oh, I need to slow down, because it uses more fuel. Who wants to use more fuel in today's environment? So while I suspect the typical political thing is, oh, we'll just pass the ordinance and please that one person, you're actually going to open the door up for another 20 complaints to the sheriff's office for reporting excessive noise, of which the sheriff's department is going to have to respond, well, we don't have any proof of it, and we don't really know what his intent was when he was using them. So I think you're looking at going into an area of perhaps unenforceable ordinance and perhaps just frustrating the system, as opposed to say, okay, I live near a train, you can't quiet the train down for me. I have fire trucks, you can't quiet them down for me. There's a reason for these things. And if you go to the pass and across, like Snoqualmie Pass and lots, they require trucks to shift down when they're going downhill. It's part of the design of the vehicles. So I'm going to encourage you actually to go against the ordinances, not because I don't feel sympathetic for somebody with noise. I have too much of it sometimes. But I think it's an unenforceable ordinance that will only frustrate more people. And if it's unenforceable, it actually causes a level of disrespect for all ordinances that are created. So it either has to have some meat to it, that there's a reason and purpose, or it shouldn't be passed. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Dixon Fellows, you're up.
Hello, my name is Dixon Fellows. I have a business on Highway 12 where you do have a no compression brake zone, which is not enforced, and the quality of life there is lousy. Today, I almost had to pull out in front of a car. I'm in a big truck full of fuel going over 50 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. I have been run off the road twice because it's not enforced. I have begged deputies, I have begged troopers to use my parking lot, my driveway, to enforce this. It takes 3 minutes a week to enforce it because they will come that often. I one time put up a sign on my reader board, Please ticket compression brake violators. And my neighbors behind me 3 days later says, did they close the highway? Because it was so quiet. I got threatened. I had a trucker pull over when he saw me get my mail. He came storming right at me, cussing at me. And I said, sir, see that camera over my shoulder? It's on. And he turned right around and walked away. It is that bad out there at 4 o'clock in the morning. If they could work 5 minutes once or twice a week, they could shut the whole place down in noise because they will all know that people are demanding respect. The quality of life is the reason I'm here, and safety. I've lived with it for 25 years. I've seen it nonstop, but I did get 3 days of peace and quiet once. And it's just a matter of quality of time. I'm at 4 o'clock in the morning. If a deputy is sitting around going, I got a breather moment, they just have to go out there. They just have to catch one guy. It doesn't even have to be a ticket. It just has to be a warning. It also may be just a brake check to make sure his truck isn't have good brakes. But I don't know about Little Rock Road, but it's more of a speed situation and respect to the citizens. It's not the driver that's showing respect. He's showing disrespect at times. That's all I have to say. You have any questions?
I do. You're talking about your business
Yes.
on Highway 12?
Yeah. I have a 30-mile-an-hour zone sign there, and they're going past me at 50 and 60 miles an hour.
Given that we can't direct the sheriff to do X, Y, or Z,
Okay?
the issue in front of us is this stretch of Little Road, and whether or not this warning is going to make any difference. Would you encourage?
I would say encourage it for the quality of life for the people. That's all.
No.
Anything? Okay. Thank you, sir.
You betcha. Thank you.
Good to see a new face appear.
Yeah.
I've never met you before.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well, that's. Let's talk. All right. So we've got the folks who are in the room, and I don't see anybody on the Zoom. So any other?
There is someone on Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And can the PowerPoint come down?
Yeah, without the. Okay, great.
Have somebody in Zoom.
Because I mistook her for county staff.
Hey, Vivian, I thought
I'm on break.
I thought you were just listening to this wonderful conversation. You'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You have 4 minutes.
Okay. So I'm the one who actually contacted Public Works. It's mostly out of curiosity.
Vivian, for the record, can you introduce yourself and where
Oh.
you live in the county?
Vivian Easton. I live on Albany Place, but my property runs along Little Rock Road.
Go ahead.
And we're the area that is mentioned. And I had contacted them because I was just curious. A lot of residential areas, compression brakes are not allowed. We have a couple of trucks there that are very much like to use their compression brakes. And a lot of times they're empty logging trucks. I think they just like to use them. And so I was just asking for curiosity. They are pretty loud. That's the area where my horse barn is the stalls are being built. And so I ride my horse along there, and it's pretty loud. The speed limit's only 30, and it's a straight stretch, no hills. And I think it's just because they can. It's right before the railroad tracks there going into Rochester. So it's all residential area through that. And that was just why I was curious on it. I wasn't really complaining because I know the county, and I was really impressed by the way and how receptive they were. It was great. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vivian.
So Vivian, hearing what you heard, you're supportive of this or not?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
I just think that, it may not be enforced, but I think most people will understand and see that. I think they'll respect it, the same as they do in some parts. There's not a lot of respect of the laws out in Rochester. So I understand the gentleman's comments on Highway 12. I mean, we do have a huge speed problem. And over the years, we've we've talked to the commissioners about that on and off. But when it goes down to 30 miles an hour and it starts before that, they shouldn't be using their Jake brakes anyway.
Thank you. Okay, that's all for public comment. Any discussion that needs to be had from the board at this point? Commissioner Edwards.
Are there other solutions to this? I mean, I'm hearing, you know, one's a very rural setting. We've had testimony about a state highway and about a county road that's a main thoroughfare. All of them have pretty low speed limits, I believe, right? So they're all 30, 35 mile an hour speed limit.
Yeah, on Little Rock Road there, I believe it's 50 down to 30.
Are there signs that are out there about, I don't know, please slow down? You know, you see kids playing, please slow down, those type of things.
At this location, we do actually have, Becky, we do have curve advisory signs up right there, I believe.
That say, please don't use your Jake brake or slow down, or what?
No, that would be called Jake brake, which is.
Well, I'm not against the sign. I'm just against, I'm kind of against making a rule or a law, you know.
So if we installed a sign, we got to have the law behind
You
it.
have to have the law. You can't have a please be nice sign. No, that doesn't work.
Not usually.
But we can't get the state patrol to do speed enforcement. We can't get the county sheriff to do speed enforcement. So if it wasn't for the speed, we wouldn't have the noise, more than likely, it sounds like. Is that right?
Speed probably is a strong contributing factor. You're right. And don't sell the sheriff's department short. Those guys help me out all the time with doing speed enforcement, but it's just people are coming from that Little Rock, they're going 50 for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's 30. So it's changing that driver behavior as they're coming into Rochester.
Any of those speed reduction signs ahead? Do you have blinking lights, you know, with the solar charged little light on it or something to bring awareness to it?
So the sheriff's office actually uses we call them speed feedback signs, and they move them periodically around the county. The problem is if you don't move those, they just become background. If you drive past the same blinking sign every single day, it loses effectiveness. And that's why the sheriff's department does a great job in moving those around to problem areas.
So if we hired 8 more deputies, we could make sure one was assigned there to one of the roads, right? Because I just don't see it happening that another piece of regulation is going to solve this problem. I don't know, we might need speed bumps there.
Let's not do speed humps on Little Rock Road.
Make them slight ramps, it's easier to land.
Gosh.
Commissioner Mejia, anything?
I mean, I'm not sure, you know, I do agree with, you know, the enforceability of it. And if it's not going to be enforced, you know, there is a sign, I mean, on 101, I mean, the compression brakes, and I don't, you know, I don't see people using their compression brakes there. But maybe, I don't know.
Yes, I'm not, that argument doesn't weigh, that doesn't persuade me very much, because there's a lot of people that will respect, you know, if you're given kind of heads up, hey, this is an area where people care about this enough to have bothered with this, then a lot of respectful people will just, you know, they'll be, oh, this is a place maybe I shouldn't use my compression brake. And if what you're trying to accomplish is never having something happen because it's a bad thing, then maybe that's not good enough. But in this case, if you just, you know, if people are using them 10 times a day and then it becomes 4 times a day, that's a net gain for the people who are disrupted by it. Even those 4 people that don't respect that directive, you've still created a positive. So the enforceability, there's a lot of things that we don't enforce that much, but they're trying to give people heads up. And so I don't know about that. I mean, I definitely, you know, I guess my trouble with it is just it's just kind of random, kind of what you were getting at. We have one citizen happens to pipe up in one place. You really don't know across, we have this public hearing, but you know, we've got 2 or 3 people here. I mean, we really don't know what the overall community thinks about having the rule in place. And other places might be well more appropriate, but nobody knew about that they could pipe up. You know, Vivian works for the county and she wasn't sure what the response would be. And she was pleasantly surprised to see how well you guys jumped on it and evaluated it, but citizens don't know that. So there's kind of an ad hoc component to it. I'm just throwing out random thoughts as I'm listening to everybody. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
What Commissioner Edwards said earlier about deer jumping out, there's always going to be those circumstances where they have to use their Jake brakes, because even if they're going 30 miles an hour and a deer jumps out, the truck probably
that
needs
kind of vehicle, yeah. Commissioner Edwards.
Yeah, you know, like on Churchill Road, that's been logging back up behind Churchill Road for longer than I've been on this earth. It's been logging and diesel trucks coming down that road through there.
Usually if the only things we're bothering are state government trucks, usually you wouldn't have a problem.
Oh, well, these aren't government trucks. These are private contractors that haul for DNR.
I see.
And they haul for Weyerhaeuser, because Weyerhaeuser has property back up in there as well. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, and I'm sure somebody's gotten frustrated or something, but the roosters have been crowing for longer than that. So I'm kind of inclined where the population base is more, like Little Rock Road, you know, I could understand that. Rural America, where the industry of logging is, you know, this thing kind of goes against the philosophy of trying to make it uncomfortable to live in rural America. There's a lot of folks that would like to have all those people that live out there on Churchill Road move to a condo in downtown Olympia. You know, that there is a move afoot to do that. So maybe this will help on that drive. Anyway, I guess I would wish these two were split, and I'd probably have a split vote on those. I don't know that we have to have them all together, but anyway, I guess we're all going to vote our conscience as time goes on here.
I think I would propose that we not take action on this today. I'm going to be down in Tenino this weekend. I might go drive up Churchill Road and see how I feel about it, and if the board is willing to take, just to think about it.
Sure.
Because I don't have a firm idea just yet.
Yeah, I'll be down in Tenino, and I would like to ask around about this too, because I want to get a little bit more insight. So I agree with your idea.
So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I would move to close this public hearing.
I'll second.
Excuse me. Did Matt have something to say before we did we cut you off?
No.
No, okay. Okay, I'd move to close this public hearing.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing closed, and we will,
Yeah.
What's the formality? Will a decision be made at the agenda settings?
Yeah, I'll bring this item. When is your meeting in Tenino?
In a couple of weeks, we could do it.
I'll be there this weekend.
I'll be there.
So,
So I'll put this in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that will give you time to do your due diligence.
let me chew on that.
Oregon Trail Days.
Yeah.
Me too. And Frog and
Matt.
Toad on Sunday.
Oh, are you dressing up?
I didn't know I was supposed to dress up. Oh, no.
Wear like a pioneer costume or something? This week?
Yeah.
Let me close the feed. I need the,
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners public hearing for Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. It's 3:38 p.m. My name is Ty Mentor, Chair of the Board. To my left is the Vice Chair, Commissioner Gary Edwards, and to my right is Commissioner Carolina Mejia. County Manager Ramiro Chavez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, and Clerk of the Board Amy Davis. 3:38 p.m. This was scheduled for 3 p.m., but we had a hearing simultaneously scheduled that we did first. So this one is about the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and Resilience Ordinance, or CPACER as it's known. The purpose of the public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed ordinance to establish a CPACER program in Thurston County. This is a hybrid public hearing. Those wishing to testify have joined us in person or by Zoom. They have emailed in comment or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the Thurston County homepage online and select Announcements of Public Hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. Ramiro Chavez, the County Manager, will provide a brief background on this topic. I will read names on the sign-up sheet and then go to the folks on Zoom in that order. Each person will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, please state your name and area of the county in which you reside for the record. Public hearing is now open, and County Manager will now present background information of the proposed amendment, summarize any written comments submitted, and answer any additional information as he can that is requested by the board.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's been a while since I've been behind the podium here. So Jenica Machado, our Economic Development Manager, is the one who has been managing this particular program and has done all the work to take us to this point. Unfortunately, she's ill today, is unable to attend, so I will do my best to represent this program and all the work that she has done so far. The CPACE, this is the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and Resilience Program. House Bill 2405 was passed during the 2020 legislative session and became effective on June 11, 2020. CPACER program aims to address the significant needs for property owners to finance energy efficiency upgrades, renewable energy improvements, stormwater management, water conservation, and resiliency retrofits. Washington's CPACER program, like many other states, relies on private rather than public financing. Unlike traditional financing models, CPACER loans are not personal debt obligations. Rather, the CPACER loan is repaid through voluntary assessments on the properties involved. This is a voluntary program for those commercial properties who would like to take advantage of this. Now, how the county is involved in this private venture, the legislative authority, you, need to take an action to create that umbrella, to create this program, to make it available, and that's part of the legislation related to the CPACER. So this afternoon, I'm going to walk you through a little bit more detail. Before I start, the CPACER is not just about establishing the umbrella for this program to be implemented in Thurston County. This particular program is aligned with the climate mitigation plan for Thurston County that it was approved back in November 2020 by all the jurisdictions, including the Thurston County. And this is a strategy, and this is aligned to that particular strategy as well. So as stated before, the CPACER is a tax assessment-based financing mechanism for energy efficiency, renewable energy, water conservation, and resiliency projects. How we can understand CPACER? There you go. In a little more in detail, this is a property-based debt financing. It is a long-term financing. It is 100% financing for those improvements. Enables deep retrofits to those already built structures. There is no impact to debt equity ratio and increase the property value at the end for those individuals who would like to exercise this particular program. Who can participate on the C-PACER program is commercial properties, office, multifamily, industry, retail, hotel, agriculture, and nonprofits. Residential properties are not a part of this program. So what are the steps that we need to take to implement the C-PACER program? The first step is what you may be considering today, approving that ordinance related to implementing this program here in Thurston County. And as far as my record shows, perhaps Thurston County is going to be the first county in the state that is going to be taking an action and implementing a C-PACER program. I know that other counties may be considering taking similar actions, but I am not aware they have taken already affirmative action. So moving on, in terms of the implementation, under step 1, as stated on the slide, the property owner and the capital provider, that will be a third party who provides the financing, prepare the project application consisting of the project checklist and supporting documents. What is the county roles in this step 1? None at this point. During step 2, the application is submitted to the county administrator for reviews, applications, or their designee. The designated official then in Thurston County will review the project application for completeness. The designated official provides notification to the application approval status to the applicant. And the designated official has 10 business days to review, can communicate an extension of 10 days if needed. Under step 3, upon approval, counsel for capital providers drafts closing documents and provide documents to the county. In this particular step, the county's role is the county may require completed documents to be along with the payment of the program fee, and I will touch base what the program fee will be, since that is collected at approval. And the next step will be the recording costs. The program fee, the county's compensation is allowed by law, is to recover the cost for time and costs incurred on the establishment of the C-PACER program, is entitled to a fee equal to 1% of the amount financed by the property owner, with a minimum of $2,500 and a maximum of $15,000, depending, again, on the amount is financed. The fee must be paid at closing, and the transaction of such payment as a condition of preceding the recording. In terms of the recording costs, each recorded document has a first fee of $103 and a subsequent dollar per page after that. And that is just part of the normal recording fees that we have in the county. Under step 4, at closing, the county will record the assessment agreement, the notice of assessment interest, and the C-PACER lien. That will be the lien established in the property, and the assignment of the notice of the assessment interest of the C-PACER lien. What is the county's role on this particular step? The designated official may utilize the current lien recording process with the auditor's office to record all documents. Recording fees will be required to be paid to the auditor's office at that time. In step 5, then upon confirmation of the recording with the auditor's office, the capital provider will disperse the funds to the property owner in accordance to the finance agreement. At this point, the county does not have any role. And on step 6, the property owner begins making assessment payments to the assessment based on the assessment agreement in accordance with the financing agreement as stated with the third-party provider. And at that point, the county has no role. So that takes me to the end of the formal presentation. I know that during the conversations when this item was discussed in front of the board, there was a little bit of questions related to the percent in which the provider will the finance of the fee. And I think at some point during the conversation was outlined between 5% fee, and that was used, as I believe, as an example. because the fee, the loans and the terms will vary depending on the project, depending on the provider, depending on the economic situation of the current economy. And in practice, what it has hovered between is between 4 to 6%. But again, it will be depending on that ratio of that I just stated. So there's not really a specific set percent fee associated with this transaction. And again, that is an individual transaction between the property owner who wants to exercise this program and the provider who will be a financial entity who provide the financing in the long term. With that, open up for questions.
Anything before we get going? Go ahead.
On step 4, it says Thurston County role. Designated official may utilize the current lien recording process with the auditor's office to record all documents. Recording fees will be required to be paid to the auditor's office at this time. Is that something that the designated official is required to pay, or is that something the person getting the loan is?
So since the designated official here in the county will process the recording documents, we will get reimbursed those recording fees by the applicant.
And then on step 6, the property owner begins making assessment payments, per the assessment agreement. And I take it that's to the bank.
That is correct.
That they've made arrangements with.
Yeah.
And have we had legal review on this to ensure us, I guess, the citizens of Thurston County will not be incurring liability of any type?
Yes, legal review has been done, and the proposed resolution before you has been going through the legal review. And there is no financial obligation to the county by you allowing this program to be implemented here.
And then that brings me to my last question. If there is no, legal obligation, I guess, by the county, why does the county have to be designated in some fashion or another? Because we really don't have anything to do with it. Some RCW that said that we could assist towards better, R factors in the building or something. I mean, we're trying to save energy. That's, lessen the carbon footprint. But I'm trying to figure out what the intent of having a county entity, say, versus a municipal entity. Do you happen to know the answer to that? Why?
Well, the CPERSER program, before can be implemented in any jurisdiction, the legislative authority needs to create that umbrella.
And that's per state law, right?
Per the program itself.
Okay, I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to, I don't understand.
And House Bill 2405 outlines that requirement.
Okay, I'm good, thank you.
Ready for public comment?
Yes.
I don't see anyone in the boardroom, but I see Chris Van Dahlen through Zoom. I assume Mr. Van Dahlen would like to give public comment. Chris, go ahead. You've got 4 minutes. State your name for the record.
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, I've had a little bandwidth issue on my internet today, so if it breaks up, I'll turn off my video. Commissioner Menser, Chair Menser, and Commissioners Edwards and Mejia, thank you very much for entertaining this proposal today. I am Chris Van Dahlen with the Northwest Eco Building Guild and the Thurston Climate Action Team, and I have participated in the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan development as well as supporting staff in the development of this ordinance along with some of my colleagues. I just wanted to start off by thanking you all for entertaining this and thanking County Manager Chavez and Development Director Jenica Machado for all their hard work on this. Also, special note to County Treasurer Jeff Gadman for participating in this process, not only at the county level, but at the state level, and making sure that this law the original law that was mentioned at the RCW, as well as the county ordinance, were as effective and efficient as possible. So thanks for all the efforts there. In the process, we enlisted the help of some experts in this field, including Court Olson from Shift Zero, who's also a building consultant on his own right, folks from the National CPACE Alliance, Cliff Kellogg, Michael Yackey from a capital provider, Petros Partners, as well as Richard Martinez from Kitsap Banks. We brought in some of the most renowned experts nationally and locally to consult with staff on this, and that's why the ordinance is as effective and well done as it is. Just wanted to say a little bit about the ordinance itself. This is a national program that is active already in 25 different states and the District of Columbia. And then since 2005, there's been about 2,000, more than 2,000 or 2,500 projects that have been financed using this tool, amounting more than $1 billion of investments. And these investments use the tax assessment-based financing mechanism to help developers and builders finance more energy efficient buildings that have renewable energy like solar, water conservation, as well as resiliency project to improve fire protection and resistance to earthquake events and such like that. Those kinds of things can be financed through this, and it really provides a way to improve the pencil, how these projects pencil out, because it does involve some upfront costs, but by decoupling the cost or the debt from the individuals and putting it with the property, it allows for the property to pay for those investments over time through energy savings and other benefits to the residents and to the developers. So it's a great tool that really is a voluntary mechanism that allows the market to really drive the success of the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan. And so I just wanted to, point that out and let people know that this is a good step forward that will help the developers in our community, use the value of renewable energy and energy efficiency that benefits our whole community. And the financial value of that is going to be able to pay for itself over time using this mechanism. The commitment of the county staff is very small and is duly compensated. And so I believe this is really a win-win solution for the county and the community overall. So appreciate your support for this and urge you to support and pass the ordinance before you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that's it for public comment. Would the board like to have any further discussion before we close the public hearing?
No, sir.
I don't think I need to.
Okay, is there a motion to close the hearing?
I would move to close this public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. And would the board like to entertain a motion?
Yeah.
Regarding the proposed ordinance?
I believe that I'm prepared to make a motion if the board so desires.
Sounds good.
I would move to approve the ordinance to establish the Commercial Property Assessed Clean and Resiliency Program in Thurston County.
Second.
I think the word energy was missing from the script, but we know what you meant. So it's been.
Did I leave something out
No,
there?
you didn't. It was left out of the paper.
Should we make sure it's in there?
Just clean energy, I guess. If you could restate the motion with assessed clean energy and resiliency program. The word energy is missing.
Energy is missing.
Yeah.
Okay. I would move to approve the ordinance to establish the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and Resiliency Program in Thurston County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I forgot to mention this, and Chris mentioned, but this is one of the stated strategies in our Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan, so I'll be proud to report this at the steering committee meeting next week. So thanks, everybody.
Congratulations for being the first county to do it.
All right. Thurston County likes to be first. Almost always.
Thank you for all your work on this, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
By all means, Commissioner Edwards.
We're adjourned.